めたんですけど、ただここで終わらせなければ自分の価値観など、この先の来てくれたファンの方、そしてレミのご覧のファンの方。
When Marlon Tapales began calling himself the next Manny Pacquiao, many fans were excited to see if a new Filipino superstar was about to rise. But when you challenge Naoya Inoue with that kind of confidence, you are stepping into a nightmare that few fighters survive. Tapales was not an easy opponent by any measure. He was a unified champion, a skilled southpaw with real power, sharp footwork, and a reputation for upsetting the odds. He had already rebuilt his career after a crushing knockout loss and fought his way back to the top, proving he had grit, heart, and skill. But Naoya Inoue was something entirely different. He was not just a champion, he was a force of nature, a fighter who had demolished everyone placed in front of him with frightening ease. When the two finally met in Japan, with every super bantamweight belt on the line, the entire boxing world knew they were about to witness something special. Tapales entered the ring with belief, knowing this was his moment to shock the world, while Inoue stepped in with quiet confidence, calm eyes, and the same cold focus that had made him one of the most feared fighters on the planet. From the opening bell, Inoue did exactly what he always does, taking a slow and methodical approach, using the first round to read Tapales' movement, his timing, and his reactions. He flicked out jabs, tested the body, and watched how Tapales responded, while Tapales tried to stay disciplined, looking for chances to counter. The speed difference, however, was already clear. Inoue's punches came in sharp, straight lines, snapping back to guard before Tapales could react, while Tapales' shots had to travel just a little farther, giving Inoue time to slip and counter. By the second round, that gap began to grow. Inoue stepped in with quick 1-2s, digging into Tapales' body and forcing him to adjust his guard. Tapales tried to fight back with left hands and body shots of his own, but Inoue's footwork kept him just outside danger, always ready to explode forward with clean punches. Every time Tapales leaned in, Inoue made him pay with uppercuts and straight rights that snapped his head back and shook his balance. As the rounds passed, Inoue's confidence grew. He started baiting Tapales into overcommitting, flashing the right hand to draw reactions before slipping away and returning fire from a new angle. Tapales was game and courageous, throwing combinations and going to the body, but the more aggressive he became, the more openings he created for Inoue. That is the danger of fighting the monster. He does not need you to make many mistakes. One is enough. By the fourth round, Inoue was in full control. He stepped in with a massive left hand that crashed through Tapales' guard and sent him to the canvas for the first time. The arena erupted as Tapales struggled to his feet, clearly hurt, but refusing to quit. Inoue did not rush recklessly. He pressed forward with calm precision, landing heavy shots to the body and head, wearing Tapales down with every exchange. The fifth and sixth rounds became brutal. Inoue mixed crushing body shots with sharp uppercuts and straight rights, breaking Tapales down inch by inch. Tapales showed heart, firing back with his own punches and trying to back Inoue up. But every time he did, Inoue responded with something harder. The monster's accuracy, speed, and power were overwhelming. Tapales' high guard began to fail as punches slipped around and through it, slamming into his ribs and face. By the middle rounds, the difference in class was undeniable. Inoue was not just winning, he was teaching a lesson about the true levels of elite boxing. Tapales, for all his courage and skill, was being outmatched in every area, from footwork to timing to punch placement. Still, he refused to go quietly. He adjusted his guard, tried to move laterally, and found moments of success, landing some clean shots that forced Inoue to stay alert. But those moments only delayed the inevitable. Inoue had downloaded his opponent completely. He knew when Tapales would dip, when he would step in, and when he would try to counter. He started throwing punches where Tapales was going to be, not where he was, landing devastating blows that shook him again and again. The crowd could feel it building. Everyone knew that something big was coming. In the championship rounds, Inoue turned the pressure even higher. He doubled up his right hand, mixed in brutal body attacks, and forced Tapales into exchanges he could not win. Each punch carried the weight of a fighter who knows he is superior. Finally, in the 10th round, Inoue unleashed the sequence that ended everything. A massive right hand crashed through Tapales' guard, dropping him hard to the canvas. He tried to rise, but his body could not answer. The referee waved it off, and the monster had done it again, unifying the division with a dominant knockout and proving once more that when he faces a challenger who believes he can be the next Pacquiao, the result is usually the same. A brutal reminder that there are levels to this game, and Naoya Inoue stands at the very top. Naoya Inoue stood calmly in the center of the ring as the referee waved off the fight, while Marlon Tapales remained on the canvas, trying to understand how everything had slipped away so quickly, and that single image captured the true difference between a hopeful champion and a generational force. Tapales had walked in believing he could become the next Manny Pacquiao, believing that his heart, southpaw stance, and fighting spirit would be enough to challenge one of the most dangerous fighters on the planet. But the moment Inoue found his timing, that belief was slowly stripped away with every clean punch that landed. Inoue did not rush for the knockout, he did not throw wild punches, and he did not lose control of his emotions. Instead, he stayed patient and methodical, breaking Tapales down with precision, the same way a craftsman shapes steel. And that patience made the final moments of the fight even more brutal. When that last right hand crashed through Tapales' guard and sent him to the canvas, it was not just a knockout, it was the conclusion of a long process that had started from the opening round. When Inoue began reading every movement, every reaction, and every defensive habit of his opponent. Fighters who survive against Inoue early often think they are doing well, but in reality, they are simply giving him more information, and once he has it, the outcome becomes almost unavoidable. Tapales was brave. He kept coming forward. He kept trying to find his moments, and he kept throwing combinations even when the damage was adding up. But bravery cannot overcome a fighter who is always one step ahead. Inoue's timing allowed him to hit Tapales before Tapales could even think about hitting back, and his footwork ensured that he was always in the right place at the right time, never wasting energy and never being caught out of position. The crowd in Japan watched in silence as Tapales struggled to rise, and when the referee stopped the fight, it was not out of sympathy but out of necessity, because the damage had reached a point where continuing would have been dangerous. That moment did not just decide a fight, it reshaped the entire division, because Inoue had once again proven that he is not just a champion, but a ruler who stands above everyone else. For Tapales, the loss was painful, but it was also a harsh reminder of how unforgiving boxing can be when you step into the ring with someone operating at the highest possible level. He had earned his chance, he had worked his way back to the top, and he had the courage to challenge a monster. But courage alone does not guarantee victory when the skill gap is too wide. Inoue, on the other hand, walked away with yet another belt, another highlight, and another chapter added to his growing legacy, and the calm way he accepted the victory showed just how used he had become to moments like this. He did not shout, he did not jump around, and he did not look surprised, because for him, this was not a miracle, it was the result of preparation, discipline, and belief in his own ability. After the fight, analysts around the world broke down every round, pointing out how Inoue had controlled distance, how he had neutralized Tapales' left hand, and how he had forced him into positions where he could not defend himself properly. And those details are what separate great fighters from legendary ones. Anyone can throw punches, but only a few can create situations where their opponent has no good options left, and Inoue is one of those few. He does not rely on luck. He relies on patterns, angles, and timing that he has perfected through years of training and experience. And that is why so many of his knockouts look clean, sharp, and almost effortless. Tapales tried to change his guard, tried to move laterally, and tried to fight back with aggression, but each adjustment only led him into another trap that Inoue was ready to exploit. This fight also showed why Inoue is so dangerous across weight classes, because his power is not just about muscle, it is about technique, leverage, and perfect placement, allowing him to hurt fighters who are naturally bigger and stronger than him. As he continues to move up in weight, many wonder if his power will follow him, but performances like this suggest that it will, because his knockouts are built on timing and precision rather than raw size. For the fans, this was another reminder of why they tune in whenever Inoue fights, because every bout feels like it could produce something historic, something that will be replayed for years, and something that adds to the legend of the monster. For Tapales, the night was a painful lesson, but also a moment of truth, because he now knows what it feels like to share the ring with someone who is truly on another level, and that experience, as brutal as it was, is something very few fighters ever get. Even in defeat, Tapales showed heart, but heart is only part of the equation, and against someone like Inoue, the rest of the equation is overwhelming. As the belts were wrapped around Inoue's waist, the crowd could feel that they were witnessing the peak of a special career, one that is still unfolding and still gathering momentum with every fight. Inoue has now unified divisions, defeated champions, and knocked out some of the toughest fighters in the world, and yet he continues to look hungry, focused, and driven, as if he has not even reached his final form. That hunger is what makes him so frightening, because he does not fight like someone protecting a legacy, he fights like someone building one. Every opponent who steps in front of him becomes part of that story, and whether they win or lose, they contribute to the myth of a fighter who seems almost impossible to stop. The night Tapales fell was not the end of his career, but it was the end of the idea that he could simply become the next Pacquiao by believing it, because belief must be matched by ability, and Inoue showed exactly how wide that gap can be. In the end, this fight was not just about who won or lost, it was about showing the world what true elite boxing looks like when it is executed perfectly, and once again, Naoya Inoue was the one standing at the center of that truth.